I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sex.
For Toprak, the Silverstone test isn't just about chasing the fastest time. Far more importantly, he's building chemistry with a bike that's completely different from the superbikes that made his name. Each lap is an opportunity to understand how the bike reacts when entering fast corners, braking hard, and even opening the throttle early on corner exit. Silverstone itself is known as one of the most challenging circuits in the world. The combination of fast corners, aggressive changes of direction, and long straights make it an ideal place to test the balance of the new bike. Yamaha is certainly eager to see if the latest aerodynamic package, weight distribution, and characteristics of the 850 cubic centimeters engine can work optimally on one of the fastest circuits on the MotoGP calendar. Toprak himself appears increasingly confident. While he initially admitted to having difficulty understanding the Yamaha MotoGP character, now his aggressive riding style is starting to blend in with the constantly refined V4 bike. He understands that the journey to the top doesn't happen overnight. The journey to MotoGP is never easy. In the 2026 season, Toprak will have to face the reality that the competition is much tougher than in World SBK. Each rider has years of experience developing prototype bikes. However, it's precisely these challenges that further hone the mentality of a world champion like Toprak. Yamaha has also demonstrated its full commitment to this project. They've not only updated the engine, but also continuously evaluated the chassis, electronics, and even the characteristics of the Pirelli tires, which will become the new MotoGP standard in 2027. All developments are geared towards adapting the bike to Toprak's renowned riding style, which is known for its strength in corner entry and late braking. Interestingly, every time he takes to the track, Toprak never focuses solely on the day's results. He always talks about long-term goals. For him, every round at Silverstone is an investment towards the 2027 season. The more data he gathers now, the greater Yamaha's chances of delivering a competitive bike when the new regulations officially come into effect. While not everything has been perfect, Toprak's performance has begun to improve over the past few months. He's continuously refined his tire management, understanding the characteristics of MotoGP electronics, and increasing his speed during fast laps and race simulations. All these small developments are crucial for facing the new era. Here's the full news. Silverstone wasn't filled with cheers from the crowds that race weekends often attract. However, beneath the silence of the legendary British track, a test was taking place that could prove to be one of the most important moments in Yamaha and Toprak Razgatlioglu's journey into the new MotoGP era. All eyes were on the Turkish rider, who was once again entrusted with developing the 850 cubic centimeters prototype motorcycle, the bike Yamaha is preparing to meet the new 2027 MotoGP regulations. For some, this was just another test session. But for Yamaha, the engineers, and of course, for Toprak himself, every lap at Silverstone meant much more than simply setting the fastest time. Every corner, every brake, every acceleration, and every piece of telemetry data collected would lay the foundation for the development of the motorcycle that would hopefully bring Yamaha back to the forefront of MotoGP. Since joining Yamaha's MotoGP project, Toprak has understood that he won't immediately become a rider capable of competing for wins. He arrives not only as a World SBK world champion, but also as a rider who must learn a completely different world. The characteristics of prototype motorcycles, their far more complex electronic systems, more aggressive aerodynamics, and even tire management strategies require a lengthy adaptation process. Therefore, every test session is always a golden opportunity to accelerate this process. Silverstone was chosen for a reason. This nearly 6-kilometer circuit is known as one of the fastest and most technical on the MotoGP calendar. Corners like Maggots, Beckett's, Chapel, copse, stow, and veil demand a perfect balance between engine power, chassis stability, aerodynamics, and the rider's ability to read the bike's characteristics. It's on tracks like these that the bike's weaknesses become most apparent. Yamaha utilized Silverstone's characteristics to test whether their latest package was truly an improvement over previous testing. The continuously developed 850 cubic centimeters engine must be able to deliver smooth yet explosive power exiting corners. At the same time, the chassis must be stable enough to allow the rider to maintain confidence when entering fast corners at speeds exceeding 250 km per hour. Toprak is a crucial figure in this project because his riding style differs from that of most current MotoGP riders. He is known as a specialist in extreme braking. Numerous times in World SBK, Toprak has been able to overtake opponents simply by daring to brake a few meters later than the other riders. This ability prompted Yamaha to determine whether the characteristics of the 850 cubic centimeters bike could be adjusted to maximize the rider's greatest strengths. During the testing sessions, the engineers looked beyond lap times. They focused more on how Toprak used the front tire when entering corners, how the bike reacted during quick changes of direction, and how weight distribution changed as fuel consumption decreased. All of this information was then sent directly to the garage for detailed analysis. Many changes were made throughout the day. The bike returned to the pits several times for minor adjustments. These included changes to the front suspension settings, rear wheel height, engine braking settings, and even tweaks to the electronic software to make the engine's power characteristics more manageable. It's these small details that can ultimately result in performance gains of several tenths of a second per lap. These numbers may seem insignificant, but in MotoGP, a difference of just 2 or 3 tenths of a second can be enough to separate pole position from third place. That's why Yamaha didn't want to miss a single piece of data during testing. What made today's test even more interesting was the focus on development of the 850 cubic centimeters bike, which will be the future of MotoGP. The new regulations mean all manufacturers have to start from scratch in many aspects. The engines are smaller, the power characteristics have changed, while the use of Pirelli tires also presents new challenges that differ from the previous era. This situation actually presents an opportunity for Yamaha to catch up. For the past few seasons, Yamaha has faced difficult times. They lost the dominance they once enjoyed during the Jorge Lorenzo and Valentino Rossi eras. In fact, in recent seasons, they have often struggled to compete with Ducati, which has performed very strongly at almost every circuit. But new regulations always present new opportunities. And that opportunity is, Yamaha is